the three ladies behind one of the highest performing, most innovative independent brokerages in the nation, FirstTeam Real Estate.
When they asked me if I wanted to re-enlist, it wasn't just no, but hell no. 7.5 years ago, I sold my company to FirstTeam, and I started off as a branch manager. I became the chief operating officer, and now I'm the CEO.
Most people don't realize what they're capable of doing until someone kind of shows them what they can do.
What I loved about FirstTeam was that they were fiercely independent. I wanted to be on that journey to do something different and be able to go about it our way.
You know, we're not selling houses. We're building careers. And that's why we came up with Behind the Agent.
Never accept no for an answer. You have to have no fear and ask for what you want and just take what you want.
60% of agents are women, but only 14% of the leadership in the real estate industry is women. We think as women that we can't do it all or we can't have it all. The three of us have proven that you can have it all.
There are no limits in terms of where you want to be with your career, but you just have to shut out those voices who may say you can't do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very exciting episode of the Luxury Presence podcast today. This is actually our first episode that includes more than one guest. We have three today. The three ladies behind one of the highest performing, most innovative independent brokerages in the nation, FirstTeam Real Estate. We have Michele Harrington, Anna Bennett, Lauren Henss. It's so great to have you guys on the show.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Love it. Long awaited. I'm going to give you three a quick introduction and then we can hop right into it. Let's start with Michele, CEO of FirstTeam, Marine Corps veteran and real estate entrepreneur. Michele became the company's first female CEO in 2023 and has since led FirstTeam's national expansion, growing sales volume by 20% and regaining that number one spot for market share in Orange County. Next, we have Anna Bennett, VP of Business Development at FirstTeam. Anna has led recruiting efforts behind over $20 billion in market share, spanning across Fortune 500 companies and innovative prop tech startups like Zip Realty and Side. And last but not least, Lauren Henss, VP of Marketing and Strategic Initiatives at FirstTeam, a truly seasoned marketing executive with over 20 years of experience across real estate, tech, and luxury brands. She's also held senior roles at Fortune 500 companies such as Compass and Toll Brothers, driving tons of sales and major market share gains. Wow, you guys are truly inspiring, to say the least. I am very excited to dive in here. So let's keep setting the scene a bit. Michele, you've gone from Marine Corps to CEO of California's largest independent brokerage. I'd love a brief synopsis of that journey and how it shaped your leadership of today.
How much time we have? Well,
not enough.
So it's interesting that when I decided not to re-enlist, because at a certain point in your military career, you know, you're faced with the, you know, are you going to re-enlist or are you going to, you know, go out to the civilian world? And when they asked me if I wanted to re-enlist, it wasn't just no, but hell no. And a big reason why is because you might be out there protecting people's freedom, but you have zero freedom yourself when you're in the military. You can't go where you want to go. You can't do the things you want to do. You can't wear your hair a certain way. You can't grow your nails a certain length. I mean, you can't even wear a certain shade of lipstick that isn't uniform standard. So it's, there's no freedom. And what I learned the most, besides learning how to be a very disciplined person, which I learned a lot in the Marine Corps, but the other thing I learned a lot is that I love freedom. I want my freedom. And when I decided to not re-enlist, I thought, what can I do where I can have the ultimate amount of freedom? And I didn't have any money to start a company. I was pretty broke. And I thought, the only business you can really start with zero or very little money is the real estate business. And so I got into real estate. It was kind of an easy transition because being a Marine and then going into real estate, it was like, this is a piece of cake. So I did everything I needed to do. I became a successful agent. I was making more money than I knew what to do with. So I started investing. And then I came up with this crazy idea that, hey, I really want to help other people discover this like amazing industry that I discovered. So I started my own real estate company, which probably wasn't the wisest avenue of real estate. I probably should have stuck with the investing, but I started my own real estate company, and I was really driven by helping agents really discover what they wanted to do within the industry and get into the industry. And about 7.5 years ago, I sold my company to FirstTeam. And I started off as a branch manager. I became the chief operating officer, and now I'm the CEO. And I get to, the fun, amazing thing about that is I get to teach everything I learned from the Marine Corps to owning my own company to being, a CEO of a company. And I get to teach that to people who really want to make this industry a career and a business. And it's exciting and fun. And I wake up every day fired up. And I'm just super grateful that I have the opportunity to do what I do what I love, and to not have to follow orders anymore.
Amazing. I love that. Anna, you are a recruiting and acquisitions wizard at this point. You've recruited talent responsible for 20 billion in market share, which I mentioned, which is a massive number. Would love to hear what drives your approach to, identifying and attracting the right talent.
I think that the Michele talks a lot about discipline, and a lot of it has to do with just discipline. And I am a creature of believing that there's always somebody out there that's better than me. And I always have to refuel myself with how to be better than that person. And so I am constantly practicing my scripts. I'm constantly looking at what's going on, what's the next thing in the market. And then I use that and I apply that, and I do a very good job at listening to agents and making agents see what is possible. Because most people don't realize what they're capable of doing until someone kind of shows them what they can do. And I live that myself because I like to live in a place of discomfort. I like to live in a place of hearing the word no, because to me, it's music to my ears, because that means it's a challenge. And so I just take that challenge and I'm like, all right, I don't follow the rules. Let's get outside of that and let's go make you say yes to me, because there's a way that I know I can help you see what else is possible for you and help you discover what could be if we did this.
Amazing. That's an awesome answer. Lauren, you've led very successful marketing teams at companies like Compass and Toll Brothers, which we mentioned. I'd love to hear what inspired you to join forces at a brokerage like FirstTeam, and would love to hear how the marketing challenge there is unique compared to your previous challenges.
Yeah. So what I loved about FirstTeam was the point of that they were fiercely independent, right? I absolutely love that. So being able to make agent-centric decisions was very important for me versus, having to wait on a board or anything like that for decisions. So that was one of it. Also the ability, and thank you, Michele, the ability to come in and innovate and do what I do, right? And that was something that was very important to me. So when I looked in and when we were looking at the behind the agent philosophy, for example, our goal is to basically transform ambitious, individuals into industry leaders. That's what we do, right? And we meet them where they're at in that path. I wanted to be on that journey to do something different and be able to go about it our way and pivoting along the way. The other part of it, which was really great of behind the agent and being able to do it, which was unlike anything else, because normally when you run an average advertising campaign, here's your budget, here's what you got to do, here's the actors, here's the personas, whatever. Here, we really worked with our own individual agents and used them as the personas for our ICP. So that way, somebody who's coming in may not relate to me or Anna or Michele, but they will relate to these agents, right? So we're allowing them to pick their path on what they want to do. So that was what intrigued me, was to be able to do these great campaigns that redefined agent experiences and help us elevate careers.
Amazing. Yeah, I definitely want to dive into the behind the agent philosophy, which I think is one of your many differentiators. Lauren, can you kind of break down what exactly that is and how it works in practice?
Yeah. So with behind the agent, obviously we're fiercely independent. We build careers We're made by realtors for realtors, and we're constantly making agent-centric decisions. And I know Michele and Anna are going to comment on this because this is a very much a blend of all of us, right? So what I love is when you come to First Team, you're not in a box. We meet you where you're at in terms of careers. We give you obviously the tools, the technology, the guidance, the mentorship. And we really ask you that one question is, where do you want to be? What do you want your career to look like? It is not where you just come in and there's one blueprint for everybody. So what I love is we're able to take you from a new agent all the way to, you owning your own company and having a sellable asset at the end of the day. And that is really, really important. So that's my take on it, but I know they're going to jump in on it as well.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
I'll jump in.
For sure.
So I think that, we're not selling houses. I think our agents are selling houses. We're building careers. And I think that's the biggest difference. Like, I'm going to help my agent, and that agent's going to worry about the consumer and the customer and their clients, but I'm not going to worry about the clients. I'm not going to go out there and try to procure and create those relationships. My job, I feel like my place in this industry is building careers. And that's why we came up with Behind the Agent, because it's not behind the customer. It's not finding you the right house. It's building a business because of so much respect I have for the industry and so much the industry has done for me personally. I feel like the best way to give back to that is helping other people find their path, and their path from being a brand new agent to being an experienced agent to being potentially a team leader to being an office owner, a way that they can grow in this just amazing industry. And I think that encompasses Behind the Agent.
Very cool. Yeah, and I know you play a significant role in this as well. You're known as a very strong mentor to agents and team leaders. How do you approach providing that personalized support beyond just transactions when it comes to, an agent's career growth?
So I just look at, from an agent, who they are as an individual and what are their personal, professional, and financial goals. And looking at really what they want to accomplish in this career from a career path standpoint. That career path doesn't have to be into ownership. It doesn't have to be any one way or the other. And so if they want to grow a team, then what is your value proposition of your team? And how can we differentiate you from the competitor? And in this landscape, I think what most agents or humans in general, they just want to be heard. They want to be individuals. And what we provide them is giving them the ability to have freedom of their brand, freedom of how they go out and capture their business. And we're kind of in a unique place right now of, you've got the old school ways of doing business, which is door knocking, postcards, flyers. And then you've got this other emerging market with AI and with geo-targeting and with social media and all of this. And so it's just kind of an interesting blend. And I think that what we do as a company is really complement all of that and bringing it all together and bringing together kind of the 1990s or 50s or whatever year you want to put it in there. It's the same way that real estate's always been for years and years. And we're bringing in the future to it, allowing our agents to have that freedom of expression and control over their business so that they can deliver the high quality marketing, the high quality content, and differentiate themselves in the market.
Amazing. First Team has now, regained the number 1 market share in Orange County, and you guys are on track, please correct me if I'm wrong here, to recruit $1 billion in production. Are you guys getting close to, approaching that number?
We are very, very close. And the best part about that is that the referrals coming in are making it that much easier. I can tell you that our phones are ringing more often and with more and more agents wanting to join, to a point where we're getting people from out of states, other states wanting to join us and be a part of our organization, where we're saying, wait, we're not ready yet. And we're pushing them back.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so you guys are getting tons of referrals, it sounds like. But Anna, what do you look for when it comes to bringing in, new teams or brokerages yourself, to make sure they're a right fit?
Yeah, I think the most important piece is understanding what they want to accomplish. If they're looking to grow and they're looking to take their business, their company, their team to the next level and grow it, then I think that there's a lot of alignment there. But if they're looking to just hang their hat on and kind of just be that status quo and aren't looking to, take it from there, it's probably not going to be the best fit. That would be more of a lateral move to go to another brokerage. But if you're looking to take your business to the next level and, build out an asset or build out a team, we're the person or we're the company to be at.
Amazing. Marketing obviously plays a role in attracting agents as well.
Yes, it does.
Lauren, what's working right now in terms of helping, grow First Team's brand and agent network?
Well, it's a few things. I think number one, anytime you're in a marketing position, you have to be really lockstep with the sales team, right? So Anna and I are very lockstep in everything we do in terms of our ICP personas and activations and those kinds of things. And that's very important that we're volleying over between each other. For us, what we're seeing right now is in obviously our behind the agent model, which agents are very much attracted to. They're really enjoying our campaign that we are launching in 2 weeks again for the second leg. And that is really focusing on agents versus just one figurehead. And I think that's important because they can resonate with who we're featuring, right? We're real. And that goes further into our partnership. Like partnership is the heart of the First Team culture. So if we're using our own agents as influencers personally, and building their own brand, that says something from a referral standpoint, right? Obviously, we've had a lot of traction from our women's movement between the four of us as well, which has worked very well. But what we're seeing is what is different from us than rather than throwing any other tagline in it is we're authentic. If I'm being real, we're extremely authentic on who we are. And that's why I love the fact that we do build meaningful careers, right? And we allow them to scale where they need to be. But I think the key component of why we do so well is because we're so integrated. And then the last thing I want to say from a marketing standpoint, we do, for those agents, as I said, meet you where you at. So we do have the collateral. We do have all of that in-house. We do also, Anna and I offer like marketing strategy as well. So we do have an in-house team that has over 70 years of marketing strategy experience, right? At the big brands, at real estate and so forth. So we're coming around and we're positioning them against their competitors. It's not just how do you do this listing. We'll do a deep audit, on what that looks like for top agents and that kind of stuff. So I think that's important. So it could be, again, we're meeting the agent where they want. They may just want this over here, or they want a full-blown strategy. And I think the ability to scale that is very different than other brokerages.
Yeah, absolutely. You said a lot of great stuff there. I'd love to double click on one thing, which is you had mentioned, attracting agents who have, influence over other agents, whether that be, larger social followings or just the ability to spread the word about where they're working and how great First Team is. How do you approach, recruiting those types of agents? What are you looking for in those types of agents?
Well, for me, I'm not really looking for the social followings. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for good, authentic people who represent the values of the brand, right? So are they innovative? Are they self-starters? Are they people that want to build meaningful careers? Do they represent the overall First Team brand well, right? And then I'll take it from there. Now, do we have some that have big followings? Absolutely, we do. But are they the people that we sit here and we're like, yes, we want them for First Team for a long time, and we feel that we can also use them as mentors for the future, right? So when we look at them, I'm like, that is a good person. They have drive. They are willing to build our career with us. That's who I pick, right? And that's how we collectively pick together, because you want to attract the right agents, like Anna said, right? You want somebody who's going to want to be here and build a meaningful career. And that's important in building that overall culture.
Very cool. So we touched on behind the agent. Michele, can you talk a little more about some other agent first kind of leadership things you guys look to do at scale, and maybe share some examples of how you're prioritizing, that agent experience above all else?
Yeah, it's, I think one of the things that I try to do a lot of is listening to the agents. That no idea I ever come up with, or Anna or Lauren ever come up with, is an idea out of our own heads. It's by listening. So we hear what the agents want, we see what they're doing, and we try to implement systems and tools so that they can do their their business more efficiently and effectively. So we come up with like a menu, and, I call it like a buffet that they can like pick and choose, if they want the fresh strawberries or the quiche or the, chicken. And, some agents are gluten-free and some agents are vegetarians, and they're not going to want everything we have. But if we have the best in class of everything, we will find them where they're at. And one thing that we did was I was listening to our agents, and our top teams and our top agents were all using Luxury Presence, Follow Up Boss, Real Scout. And I said, why are we on a different system and our top agents are using Luxury Presence and Follow Up Boss? Like, why don't we listen to our agents and implement what they said, what they determine is the best in class, instead of us pushing another, CRM and website and trying to convince them that this is the best in class. So I think that's one thing that we do that a lot of companies just aren't. They're either not listening, or they want to have their own proprietary tech. And I get that. But we have decided that we're going to listen to our agents. We're going to implement systems that help them be more efficient and effective. And we're going to put it all out in a buffet. And some agents are never going to use a CRM, and that's okay. And some agents are not going to utilize their website properly, and that's okay. But we're going to have everything there so they can have the full level of their entrepreneurial spirit, and they can use the things that we have and the systems and tools that we have to make their lives easier.
Amazing. Yeah, we are honored at Luxury Presence to have helped you guys with your rebrand, help you with launching your new site and onboarding over 2,000 agents, which is no easy feat.
Yeah.
Lauren, I'd love to hear about your experience working with us to do just that, and how that whole process came about.
Well, it was interesting on how it came about, because I came in actually right before we signed the contract, right? In terms of what that was, and having worked with you, I'd worked with you before at Compass. But what was great, and I think was very important in terms of it is a true partnership, right? We were very much aligned in terms of, what we wanted to create here in terms of an overall UX, UI experience for the agent, but also for the consumer, right? Who is looking for an agent to, buy or sell their property, or looking at properties. So we needed to make sure that it spoke to both audiences, but one didn't settle. So the user experience was very, very important. So it was a true partnership in terms of what we were going to do with the content, the overall layout, how we were going to do it on mobile. And I think it was great from that, because I joke, I think I talked to your team more in the past 7 months than some of my closest friends, because we were working on this site so hard. But the great thing is I think you do it through, it goes back to our FirstTeam model of being in partnership with our agents as well as our partners, right? And I think through that collaboration, we got something really great.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of your site. It's one of the prettiest brokerages sites we've done for sure.
We had a lot of fun. The only part was the copy.
The copy. What about the copy?
I wrote the copy. So it was the copy, the late night copywriting things, which Anna can attest to. But overall, it was definitely worth it. So
yeah, absolutely. What are some of your favorite aspects of the site, and maybe any other products you've worked with us on?
Yeah. So my favorite parts of the site is obviously the agent recruitment portal, which is I love, because it breaks it up by different categories of agent, and it allows you to show those experiences, right? So they can contact you easily. They can learn about our value prop. I also love the corporate overview section, because that gives you a good idea of who FirstTeam is and where you're going. And if you just want to get a snippet of everything that's on the site and in 2 seconds, that's a great place to go. Luxury part is my favorite, but the last part that's my favorite is what we're working on with you right now, which is the recruitment library, where we're going to have done next week, which is our webinars and videos and those kinds of things. And what I love about that, in addition to the customized blog that we made with you, how we separated it out in the topics, agents absolutely love that. So I've seen a lot of agents send the blog articles, the thought leadership articles that we've done over to, their clients. And it's been really, really positive.
I'm so glad to hear that. That's really great to hear. I'd love to circle back a little bit to, agent experience, and just being a real estate in today's real estate agent in today's world. Michele, what are agents looking for in a brokerage right now that maybe they weren't looking for 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think when the market is doing great and, properties are flying off the shelves and we're all making a shit ton of money, then they don't really need a lot of leadership. They don't really need a lot of culture. They're kind of, you're rolling with it and it's amazing. But when the market gets tough, and the market's been tough for the past 3 years, you need guidance, you need leadership, you need accountability, you need motivation, and you need the systems and tools. Like a spreadsheet isn't going to cut it anymore. So I think that's what agents are looking for now that they weren't always looking for, because when, things are flying off the shelves, what do you need? You need your MLS access and your lockbox key. But, when times get tough, you need support, and you need a company that's going to be behind you, and you need the systems and tools, and you need the coaching and accountability. And those are all the things that we provide. So right now, when times are not as good as they have been, we thrive. We thrive in markets like this. And that's really exciting. And we help the agents jumpstart their career, pivot in their career, revive their career, or just take their career to the next level. And they really rely on us for that. And when we deliver that for them, then they're loyal to us. So it's pretty amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Talk to me about some of those agents where, they've had maybe a long career, they've been successful, but they've maybe been a bit stagnant and they're just ready to maybe like rebrand and go to the next step. How do you approach those conversations with them?
Well, I think Lauren can comment the most on rebranding because she does the rebranding, but we do strategy with them. We find out where they are, where they want to be, and then we put together a strategy of, okay, you're, just down to the details. Like, all right, you need to start a YouTube channel and you need to run these ads. And, so Lauren can kind of talk a little bit more about our strategy, but that is the way, like when we get an agent who's maybe stale, they're like, my farm isn't, turning over anymore, or all my past clients have moved out of state and I need to still make this amount of money every year. So this is what we do. Go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, I think we work, as Michele said, we work backwards. Like, where are you right now, or where you want to be? So it is us, three of us doing a complete audit on that particular agent, right? In terms of overall performance from the previous year. And then we're looking at, from a marketing standpoint, we'll do an audit on them as well. But we're like, who are they? Who do they actually come up with in their, farm? Right. So we'll look at it. They may say, oh yeah, I'm a number one luxury agent. Well, you're not, but we'll get you there. Right. So it's repositioning them as far as their unique value proposition. Obviously through social, everything like that, we are seeing a lot of what's helping agents is the AEO concept, AI concept, and coming up in voice and search and everything like that. But we will rebrand them so they really walk the walk and talk the talk. Because with agents, we want them to attract the right clients, right? They don't want to attract every client. We want them to attract the right clients. So we do a comprehensive brand that makes them stand out from their competitors.
Gotcha. How about starting from scratch? Do you guys, recruit new agents or bring in new agents who just need like the very basics to get going? I guess, like, what does that look like? How often are you working with brand new agents to completely start something from nothing?
I think we love brand new agents. We've built the company on brand new agents. Our number one agent in the company, we hired as brand new. Our number two agent in the company, and she's been with us for like almost 30 years. And then our number two agent in the company, we started him as brand new. I would say our top 5 agents in the company, Lily Campbell, Philip De Matteo, Christian Stubbs, Dave Archuleta, they all came to us as brand new agents. And now they're doing millions of dollars in GCI, $100 to $200 million in volume. And a lot of brokerages don't want to. They're like, it's a waste of time, because there's so few people that actually make it in this industry. But if you have a system and a way of dedicating time and mentors and training systems and everything in place, I love new agents. You change their lives. Yeah. I mean, you change everything about who they are, their families' lives, their kids' lives forever. So how could you not love that? I'll let Anna chime in a little bit because Anna does recruiting, but I love brand new agents.
Now, I think that the brand new agents that we have, we just have such a phenomenal foundational training. I mean, Michele will say that we have strategies and systems coming out of our ass, but it's true. And we put every single agent through a very comprehensive training platform that's designed to get them into business, even through their beginning stages of life. Like as they're in training, they're out there prospecting, they're out there lead generating. And I can't tell you how many agents actually get themselves into transaction while in training because of the confidence that we build in. And we do training every single day of the week. So anytime an agent can jump in, and it's all either live or virtual, and they can do script dialogue and role play and practice on what they're saying. They can go in and be a part of masterminds. They can go in and be a part of all of these amazing trainings that are building out their fundamental basics, as well as boosting up their confidence and making them feel like, I guess rock stars right out the gate. Because we're giving them the statistics. We're giving them the fact that we are a nationally ranked company, and that strength behind that, where they're confident saying, hey, I don't even have to tell you I'm a new agent. I work for FirstTeam. We are a nationally ranked company. And they have their pitch.
That's amazing. Is this training process something you guys developed in-house?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah. That's such a leg up for so many agents. I can only imagine how that benefits them. There are so many other brokerages out there that I'm sure does not offer that, comprehensive training.
Every brokerage offers some sort of training.
Right.
But what I would say is that the true testament to training isn't about, do you have training? It's about, what are the results of your training?
Mm.
And we have significant results in our training.
Those top 5 agents that you mentioned who started out brand new after joining FirstTeam, what are some qualities or traits that you feel they all embody that, enabled them to achieve this kind of success?
I think they're driven. Yeah. That's so funny we said at the same time. They're driven. I mean, they're not satisfied. They're not complacent. And when you find an agent and, you're recruiting them, you're in a meeting, they could be brand new, they could be coming from another industry, they could be experienced and been in the business a while. And when you talk to somebody and you see that drive, that level of perseverance and discipline that they exude, you've got to come here. Like, we have to partner together, because with your drive and what we have in our systems and our coaching, we're going to make it happen. And I think it's a combination. I think I look at the agents that we've hired as brand new, and sure, they would have been successful somewhere else. I'm not saying that we're the reason they're successful, but they are going to be more successfove or have more time with their families, or there is a benefit to being with a company that has so much support. And I think that we've shown that time and time again.
100%. I think that we also build a culture around that, where they all have these amazing peer groups that they learn from each other. They learn from their best practices. I mean, last week alone, we had an amazing peer group who, one agent said, hey, this is what I'm using to help grow my team. And another agent said, wow, I need that. And so it's just this amazing network of talent, and each one of them has a very unique personality, but they all have their superpowers that make them different.
Absolutely. Speaking of powers and superpowers, I really want to touch on your guys's, Powerful Women Redefining Leadership initiative. Michele, you're the first female CEO in FirstTeam's history. What do you think needs to change in real estate to get more women in leadership roles? And how do you feel FirstTeam is helping lead that charge?
Yeah, I think that, 60% of agents are women, but only 14% of the leadership in the real estate industry is women. And I think it's because we think as women that we can't do it all, or we can't have it all, that we can't have a full-time successful career in any industry, and in business, and still have like a great life. And I think that we've proven, the three of us have proven, that you can do that. You can have it all. I mean, we have very fulfilling lives outside of our industry, outside of our business. You know, I have a winery up in Paso Robles. You know what I mean? I have 5 kids, like, you know, 2 dogs. So there's a very full life. And just because you have, you know, a traditional executive job, because when you get into the executive side of real estate, it's more of a job than it, you know, than maybe when you can make your own hours. But you absolutely can. And the thing is, like, women are great leaders because we empathize, because we develop consensus, because we have abilities that men don't necessarily have. And some of them do, but sometimes women are a little bit better at certain things. And when you take women out of the leadership, or there's a gap there, the agents are the ones that suffer, because you need to have both sides of a way of being as a human, you know? And I think we bring a really good portion and a really good way of looking at things in a business sense that maybe a man doesn't bring. And so I think that we need to have more leaders in the real estate industry. And I don't think it's anybody external keeping us out. I think it's us, our minds, our fear that's keeping us out. So I think I love talking to women and telling them about, get out of your own head, tell yourself a different story, because you can have it all, a very full life, and be an executive and be in a great industry and a great business. And that's what I kind of want to get across to women who know that they're leaders on the inside, but have a fear behind that.
Very cool. Very cool. Lauren and Anna, you've both built teams in high pressure, often male dominated environments. Would love to hear what advice you guys have for, you know, rising female leaders in real estate. Maybe we'll start with you, Anna.
I'm excited to answer this. And I would say I have had an interesting career and have had some adversity that I've had to overcome. And I would say that never accept no for an answer. And I will tell you that you have to have no fear and ask for what you want and just take what you want in the sense of, if you get to know me, I'm an unfiltered person, and I have learned to be that way, to say exactly what's on my mind. And it just sets me apart. And I may not be the most tactful in saying it. It just comes out, but that's who I am. And I think that's what's made me successful, is just pushing forward. And I will tell you that my nickname at home is called Bulldozer or Dozer, because I just keep pushing forward. And nobody can stop me, and you can say no to me all you want, or you can't do that. And I will say, yes, I can, and I'm going to.
And Anna asks for forgiveness, not permission. And I think we all do. And I think you have to. Like, I'm not going to wait around for somebody to give me permission to do something. I'm not going to wait around for somebody to pick me. I am going to, like Anna said, take what I need to take in order to get to the next level. And if you do it wrong and you mess it up, okay, I'm sorry, I messed that up. But don't wait for somebody else to pick you. Don't wait for to ask for permission.
Amazing. That's all great advice. Lauren, I'd love to hear from you.
I was going to say, I mean, we've all been in interesting work environments. I mean, we've all come from them. I came from advertising, so that's in itself. But I would say be the CEO of your career. That is the number one thing. Be bold. I mean, as you can tell, the three of us are extremely bold. But the other thing is we all complement each other in different ways, right? In terms of making things happen. But that is one of the traits that we do have, as Michele said, like, we ask forgiveness later. We know what needs to be done, but we have that trust amongst each other to be able to get stuff done when we need it to. But yeah, there are no limits in terms of where you want to be with your career, but you just have to shut out those voices who may say you can't do it.
Lauren, how does one become the CEO of their own career?
I think it's a couple of things. I think it's knowing what you want and constantly reevaluating, is this where I want to be? So for me, I map out like my career plan, like every year, of what I want to accomplish. And I'm looking at it quarterly and seeing what I'm very detailed. They both know that, in terms of what I want to accomplish and where I want to be. And I think it's also continuing education, you know, being real of like, are you where you need to be. Because when you're in a career, you always need to constantly be learning and you need to constantly be earning. You need to both be doing both things. So I think a lot of times that involves you investing in yourself to be the best that you can be. Also having close mentors around you, right? Close mentors and close people and close other sets of women who will come in and they will tell you when you're wrong. And that's fine. And you are able to accept that feedback, move on, but they also make you a better person, right? And they elevate you. And that is so important, as women to be able to do that and collaborate together, but also call each other out on things that you can improve, but have that level of trust.
Absolutely. Following up on that, and this isn't to any one specific person here, but how would you advise women or just agents in general in regards to finding these mentors and these support systems from maybe even other agents out there right now?
I think you can. I mean, there's people that you're going to look up to in the office who have done what you're doing, you're about to do, going where you want to go. And, it's kind of like just befriending them, taking them out to lunch, following them through an open house, finding out how they got in their career path. And I think it's just picking the right people that you see that have what you want and, emulating that. But I don't, in that way, I think it's important to kind of see who you want to be, but I don't think like you can just take somebody else's roadmap. I think that you have to build your own roadmap. So it's probably not going to be one person. It's probably be like, I like the way she does this and I like the way he does that. And I like the way this person does that. And I'm going to make my own roadmap. Because if you're, following somebody else's and trying to be what somebody else is, you're not going to be authentic to yourself. And then you're not going to be happy with that. Really a big part of it, and we talked about it before, is being authentic to who you are and who you want to be. And I think the three of us are all very, very different. And, I'm not going to try to be Lauren. She's detail oriented and spreadsheet, and I am not. I am broad based, and I don't want to be detail oriented. That's why I have Lauren. So, like there's strengths and weaknesses, and sometimes partnering up with people like we do who have the strengths that that you don't have. It's a way to make yourself better and stronger and better in business, finding the people that make up for your weaknesses. And all that I think is important. But teaming up, looking for what you want, trying to figure out who you want to be, but making your own roadmap.
And Erin, I would also say it's okay if you go down one direction, you decide you don't like this anymore. Like, don't be afraid to pivot, and you are going to have to fail a lot. I mean, we've all failed in our careers, and it's just, you need to pivot. You pick yourself back up again. We all believe, and I know Michele believes in this, like all of us have grit, and it's a tremendous amount of grit, but you fight for what you want. And sometimes you're going to realize things didn't work out, and that's okay. Get up, pivot, and do it another way.
Yep. No, I believe in surrounding yourself with people that are better than you are. And how many people, I mean, I can tell you that, I love meeting new people. And so if I go out to dinner by myself, I will just go up and say, hey, I'm Anna Bennett. Who are you? And but it's so incredibly important to always get to know people, and you will decide, each person you can learn a little something from. But take that knowledge and it makes you a more rounded person. And we are better together than we are apart. And this business is too small for us to not do that.
Absolutely. That's all such great advice. Thank you for sharing that. I'd love to kind of look ahead. If we fast forward, 5 years from now, Michele, what do you hope First Team will be known for, and what part of that future gets you most excited?
So the most exciting thing to me is helping entrepreneurs start their own businesses and companies. And so it's really taking that agent who, is a solo agent and that wants to be. I mean, there's agents that just want to be solo agents, and that's great. And I love them too. But the ones that want to be solo agents and then become teams and then be team leaders and then have their own offices. I love that path. And I love seeing agents build that and building, like Anna says, an asset and something that they can sell one day. That to me is super exciting. And that's a way for us to grow out of state. So obviously we're a Southern California company who has dominated Southern California for the last 50 years. And that's great. In these other areas, there's people and agents and team leaders that need what we have. They want what we have and they want to build it in their home state. So I don't want to go to like Idaho and put Southern California in Idaho. I want to go to Idaho and find a great Idaho agent who wants to build something there, team up with them and help them build something there. And I think that's the way we go about it is not trying to put Southern California every place, but find the best people in those places, the best local real estate agents that want to grow something and help them grow. They grow, we grow. It's a win-win situation. So I see in the future that First Team will be in the western half of the United States at least, although Anna keeps pushing me into like Florida and New Jersey. And I'm like, slow it down, Anna, Bennett. So I don't know that we want to go, maybe one day we will go further east than Texas. But right now, I really want to take our fortress that we have and kind of expand the fortress to people that really need what we have. And that's the growth of their own companies.
Absolutely. Lauren, how about you? What are you really excited about? What gets you out of bed every morning?
I think the fact that we get to help them build career paths. I mean, Anna and I love that. That is one of the most exciting things. And if we can reach more of the right people that want to do that, like Michele said, in a good strategic way, that's my goal. My goal is to get them to hear about us and get the message and get them excited about what we're doing, because what we're doing is different from what others are doing, right? But I want to do it in the right way. So that's why we have the campaigns that we have that are very targeted. But I think it's important for me that we deliver those continuing like client experiences. So as Michele said, growing strategically and, versus just blowing up and going everywhere, right? Because we don't want to be everything to everybody. We want to go target the right agents that we can really help their careers. So it is that true partnership model that we're talking about.
Amazing. And how about you, Anna?
Well, I don't live by rules. I like to be outside of the box constantly. And so, as they're saying, we're going to not move on. I'm like, sure. That's what you're saying right now. Wait.
She asked for forgiveness, remember, not permission. So we'll be in Florida. I won't even know it.
You got to keep in mind.
But in all honesty, I love being surrounded by people that, are just looking to grow, because that inspires me. Every time we get a new team that joins our company because of the value proposition that we provided, and it made a difference in their life. It gave them work-life balance. It created efficiency in their business. It allowed them to achieve something that they didn't think was possible. That's what gets me out of bed. That makes me excited, because I can do that again. And I want to find that next person that I can make that difference for.
Love it. Amazing. You three are exceptional human beings. I loved this episode. I know our audience is going to get a ton out of it. Thank you all so much for joining us today. And for those of you listening or watching at home, thank you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time on the Luxury Presence Podcast.
Thank you.